Hey guys, it's Viewmaster's Reactions, and we're back with Talks Machina, episode 64, A Dangerous Chase. I put on my Zelda shirt. We all just did the live stream. I jumped right into Talks Machina. We talked about a one-shot related to Zelda coming out Tuesday after Memorial Day weekend. I usually have that Tuesday off. I've got to confirm whether or not I do. Only reason I might not is we just recently hired a new guy. I trained him for the first time Tuesday. This coming Tuesday is his second day of training, and usually that's all we need, especially I think he worked on the weekend as well. So especially with other days in between, unless something went wrong, we should be all right. But either way, there is a good chance we might do it. Zelda, one of my favorite video games of all time, original Zelda, Link to the Past. I never played the last 3, maybe 4 Zeldas ever since Nintendo 64 or GameCube. I feel like GameCube was the last one I played. Either way, we just finished A Dangerous Chase. We had a battle for a good half of the live stream, and then the rest of it was us talking to some deadheads. Deadheads, that's a good one. And we did some sending messages to Jester's mother. Let's just jump in. I saw it was Taliesin and Matt. It's nice to have Matt once in a while. We talked in the live stream also about how Matt is rarely ever on because there's a lot of things he can't answer. But let's find out. It also went deep into the episode. We're already 10 minutes in, so we got 50 minutes. You want to see more of what I do? In the description of every video is a link for Patreon. You'll see every episode of Campaign 2 Patreon Hour. Hundreds of other shows, Peaky Blinders, Doctor Who, Person of Interest. We just finished episode 10 and 6 of Barry and Ted Lasso. 2 episodes left of both shows, even though one has 8 episodes in a season, one has 12. They started a month apart, and they're going to end the same week, and it is potentially the last season of both. Both amazing shows. I've reacted to every season, along with everything else I just mentioned. Hundreds of shows, hundreds of movies. Check the link in the description for full access. If not, Talks Machina, episode 64, A Dangerous Chase. I'm also very curious to say cosplay of the week. We got it for the first time last week.
Max says you guys were talking too much and we have to rush.
Brian got a haircut.
Sorry. 12 minutes in.
Sorry, Max.
We have some crit
12
roll
minutes
stats. That
in.
seemed really sincere. We have some crit roll stats.
12 minutes. I said this is the
From
longest
our friends
we ever
at
went
Crit
in.
Roll Stats. We love
On
you
my
so much.
count,
Thank
it's
you for
over 10 minutes.
keeping track of the phrase "the end of the day," which was used 11 times in this episode.
Oh. The end of the day?
The end of the day.
What was it trying to talk
Did he
about?
say
Probably
11
me trying to
times?
explain things and being interrupted by Sam Riegel repeatedly.
Oh boy.
They also kept
It's a
singing
real
it.
problem. Singing it too.
That's true.
11 times due to interruptions by
That
Sam
stuff gets by them. You guys are too good.
and singing.
I mean, eyes everywhere, right? 5 things were
Eyes
invented
upon
canon
us.
in this episode. The phrase,
Ravioli?
"don't shoot the messenger." The phrase, "don't beat a dead horse." The phrase, "par for the course."
Ooh, that
The
one.
game of golf.
Yeah,
Ravioli.
ravioli. That was my
5
favorite, was
things
inventing
were
ravioli.
coined.
That just
any good ones.
The other
perfectly
ones weren't
explains
as openly
a Critical Role episode,
pointed
those
out.
5 things.
Yep.
We
Laura
pointed
held
out "Don't beat a dead
Jester's
horse."
astonished look
And the other
for
one.
15 seconds.
Same, Laura.
Same Laura.
Same.
Between
Raviolis
the core
don't
series
exist.
and
Golf
official
doesn't
one-shots,
exist. I dig it.
Critical Role has now aired over 800 hours.
Woo.
Fuck.
800 hours
It's
of
time
content.
we stop now. This is it.
Apparently.
I
That's
don't think I've
the
done
end.
anything for 800 hours other than this.
I wonder how much
Overall.
campaign
This is the
1
only
was.
thing I've done for 800
Because whatever
solid hours.
campaign 1 was,
800 hours?
I'm...
Between the core
rest.
series and the official one-shots? 800
Oh,
hours?
and it counts the one-shots?
Are you guys getting
Critical
paid for
Role,
this?
guess
I
so.
haven't seen a goddamn...
Does Talks
I know,
Machina
somewhere
count?
Dick
Probably
Wolf is
not.
hemorrhaging
Yeah,
and he
but
doesn't
this is
know why.
Critical Role related
Oh,
too.
he's
Does
like,
it count
whoa.
Talks Machina?
What's happening?
He's like, hold on a second.
I've done the
Someone is
math.
passing my...
On average,
Dick
they're
Wolf.
4 hours. Some are
For the
longer,
young
some are
people out there
shorter.
who don't
On
know who
average.
Dick Wolf is, don't bother.
people
Don't bother
Don't even bother.
Googling him.
It's going to be the most boring Google.
They're a
It's going to
little
be
loud.
the
Unless you
most
turn
boring
safety
Google.
I gotta turn it down.
Matt, the first question
get
for
an
tonight.
I would have to say 4 hours on average, 64 episodes. I've
what
got to
happens
be
when we have a day off
300
before
hours
this.
in counting Talks Machina.
We had the day off yesterday.
About more
We're
than
being
300
silly.
hours.
Well,
Do not make
And
me
I've
bring my
done
new puppy in
one-shots,
here.
Calamity.
all day yesterday.
We're probably
He's not here, he's
closing
at
in
home,
on
I'm
like
just kidding.
Yeah, don't like
350,
that
400
He's going to be on the
hours.
show soon, but right now he
just
can't sit
Critical Role.
still for 5 seconds.
All the
also a
behind
bear.
the scenes,
He's
if
also
you count Vox Machina,
I
the
bet
animated
he's 30
show.
pounds already.
Yeah, that's so ridiculous.
That's a lot of dog, man.
It's a lot of dog.
a
Thinking
lot of
about
dog.
someone being bigger than Henry is crazy, right?
Yeah, well, you're not going to have to imagine for long.
I know. He likes to bite on Henry's ears. It's really cute. And Henry likes it. He's like, oh, let me do that. And then he's like, oh, dude, you're fucking huge. I'm like, wait, 2 weeks.
Put a GoPro on that.
We've all been there, though.
We have. Wait, put a GoPro on Matt.
Put a GoPro on Matt.
First question is for you, Matt, from
Definitely
Kate.
I should put a GoPro on Sam.
Can you describe for
while
us
we do
in
live
detail
stream. I should buy a GoPro.
just exactly how
I've
much
never
fun it
used one.
was?
I've seen him
not
many
only
times.
DM for Stephen Colbert, but to watch his joyful grin reflected back at you as you shared in his one shot for Red Nose Day. You both looked so happy.
Speaking of moist suit,
Red Nose Day. We've seen it.
Well played.
Well played.
That was absolutely surreal.
I did put the shirt on
I'm
just
still
for all of you because I said
processing
how
it.
I've
It was
never
crazy.
worn it.
I mean, we all know how long
And
I've
we
been
talked
joking about
about the
this and
greatness
talking
that is
about it as
Zelda.
this not possible.
We're going to try to
pipe
do the
dream.
one shot.
It's like,
see what
week
happens.
1 of discussing putting the show possibly on the internet.
If this video
and
gets
jokingly at home,
Yeah.
like when you have those
5,000
conversations,
likes,
but like,
we'll
man, I bet it'd be
definitely
fun to
do
play
the
with.
live stream.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
And
joking.
like, and there's always that worry when you have the
I love
opportunity to
those
meet somebody
spherical
you
ice cubes. I
been
have
a
a
fan
thing
of
that
for
I
that
got
long,
for
they
Christmas
might
that
turn out
makes
to be a
those.
complete asshole, you know. So it was there was an element to me wanting to make sure that it was a good experience and hoping that it would be a good experience. And he was more cordial and warm and genuine than I could have ever hoped.
You made his fucking day, dude.
He made my fucking day. It was amazing, and like I was so nervous. You know,
I
I can tell I'm like super nervous the whole
haven't watched the
way.
Colbert
Definitely
Show
in the beginning.
in years.
But then as soon as
I
we began to
watched
open up and
The
talk about
Daily
its history
Show
and then began to get into the swing of it and kind of like
John's-
finding
back
those
to
old
Jon
muscles
Stewart
and
days.
flex them again, then it just got this comfortable like back and forth and
I would watch
seeing
Daily
him have
Show
fun.
every
I had
night
fun. We kept smiling
when
back
Jon
and forth
Stewart
and the
was
play
on.
was
I
great.
followed him
and,
with Colbert too.
and
Not as much.
in the moment,
but
I
did.
couldn't even really enjoy it fully because I was wanting to just make it as fun for him as
Yeah.
possible. And it wasn't until the following day where I got to see the first real
He's
cut of
definitely
it that I
got a
began
great
giggling
sense of
like
humor.
like a child
And I
in
feel
my
like
living
he-
room.
Yeah.
He played
I'm
a
just thank you
good
guys for making this possible. It was
character.
absolutely surreal.
So cool.
I really enjoyed watching a first generation D&D player figure out what fifth generation.
The funny
was, like
thing is,
watching him
we
learn.
took 12
like
minutes to
watching,
get into the first
you know, it's like
question,
decades
and the
of
first
history
question
happen
wasn't
of,
even
like,
related.
Yeah.
I can do
to
this
the-
now.
to the
oh, this is how
episode.
this works. Oh,
Now I'm starting to think, is Matt
no,
Mercer
it's
on
not
because
all
of
that
Red Nose Day and
I
Colbert?
listen to a lot of doors. Yeah.
Because we might not tap into a lot of the
That's so
episodes.
I listened
funny.
before it got
It
said
was
a
so
lot.
much fun.
I want to know
It was
about
great.
Talking Heads.
He was amazing, and I hope this isn't the last opportunity we have to do something with him. So, but it was,
think
even
he's-
if it is, I'd be happy because it was so much fun.
I think he's got the bug again, dude.
Apparently.
He said, I'm back in, man.
There was
He
also
said,
the
"I'm
Terry
back in."
Crews one.
And
There was the
we were
Vin
able
Diesel
to,
one.
because of our
I forget if I
insanely
saw
awesome
the Vin
community,
Diesel
raise
one.
over $100,000
Yeah, I
know. I've seen
for child
Colbert and
poverty
Terry
for Red Nose Day, which is insane.
That's the thing. Like that was
Now
fun.
would be a great
and
time
it
to
was
do
an
the Vin
experience.
Diesel one with
But the fact that
X10 having
we
come
got to
out
do
today.
that, and as part of that, raise so much incredible money for such an incredible charity through you guys.
Dude,
It's
Win-win.
It's surreal. It's humbling. You guys blow me away constantly, and I'm so excited to all the good that we have been doing and will continue to do as part of this community.
Yep.
It's amazing.
yep. So cool.
I
and
also
your guys'
dig
cute little pictures with your
the
red
purple
noses.
vest
My goodness.
with the shirt.
I was such a
color
fan of,
match on
the
that.
Red Nose Day charities. I used to watch them on the BBC because I love that's when you got all the fun Doctor
Mutant
Who.
and proud.
Right. Yeah.
So I was a big fan of
Taliesin's
whatever
been
Doctor
rocking
Who
that
did for
jacket
Red
a
Nose
lot
Day.
lately.
So
I dig
that
it.
was just like they want us
X-Men.
involved. Oh God. Oh man. No.
That's weird, right?
Crazy.
It's weird. Taliesin, speaking of you, Joan Marie Dudley wants to know. Caduceus was the only one being civil with, is it Maru?
Morrow.
Maru.
Morrow.
Maruo.
Yeah.
Morrow.
Maruo.
I don't know how to roll a vowel.
You say Maro?
Say Morrow.
I say Maruro, because that's
Morrow.
how Matt told me to pronounce
That's
it.
fine.
Does the Mighty Nine's way of
Morrow.
interrogating bother him? Did he wish they'd talk more and threaten less?
He's taking. I mean, things are happening. He's taking a very Mary Poppins
Something's in my eye. I can't get
sort
it
of
out. I'm
page with a
gonna
lot of this,
cry.
which is trying to teach through example of, see, when you are nice and polite to people, good things happen, and you get the things that you want, and everybody's satisfied, and you don't have to. You know, there's a time and place for violence, and not everyone's picking up the point, but he's.
Do you think they will eventually?
He hopes so. I know better.
Yeah.
That's not how
Yeah.
D&D works.
I know.
No, he still has his chipper optimism though. So, but I'm sure that'll, what level are we at right now?
9.
Oh yeah, that's gonna go away.
9.
So.
Oh, but I love Pollyanna.
He is. Yeah, I know he is very Pollyanna, but like, there's definitely a lot of.
Pollyanna. That's old
Says he's a
school.
believer in civility.
Good, we got one.
I know.
We got one.
Somebody.
Just making sure.
And
everything
good
is
things happen
on.
when you're civil. I really like in the game that when you're nice and you explain yourself, things work out pretty well.
true.
Caduceus'
still feel like-
influence
I
on
feel like
the
Talks
campaign and the
Machina
other
gets so
characters has been fascinating.
fascinating,
I love
isn't
it?
it?
I love it. It's the whole dynamics
That
become
looks
so
bad.
interesting.
Well, I mean, and you were so helpful in putting that together because I was like really, I mean, it was a crazy 3 days, 4 days trying to figure out what the fuck we were gonna do. And,
yeah.
And yeah, and like like conversations with you. I don't even know if you remember
I
talking about
love it.
what high wisdom, low
All the
intelligence
stuff
looks
around
like.
them.
No, I remember that.
And
Just
like
randomness,
very specifically, it was
pillows,
like like at
dolls,
one point
blankets,
I was
all sorts
talking
of
about the difficulty with it, and you looked right at me and were
a
like,
bear.
"Oh, that's rough, buddy," and then just got up and was like, "Ah, that's what it is. Thank you."
Yeah.
That's rough, buddy. Like tap tap. I'm like, all right, got it.
That's when you know, dude. That's when you know.
Girlfriend turned into the moon.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Girlfriend turned in the moon. That's rough, buddy.
So good.
That's rough, buddy.
Is it an Avatar reference?
Reference, yeah.
Yeah, I saw the
Nico
movie. It was
Sokka.
awesome, dude.
I will fight.
The one that.
Oh.
Did you guys see that?
I will hit you.
I heard
We're
it's
talking
based
about
on a
Avatar: The Last
cartoon.
Airbender. For a second, I thought he meant
next question is for
Avatar
Matt.
because the new
1980s
Avatar just came out
cartoon museum
recently.
in Denver
Well,
that we can go
couple
to,
months
and
ago.
hopefully.
There is?
Yeah.
But do they reference
I
the
literally
movie,
was-
though, in the display?
Last Airbender.
Continue, please.
Tis
Not Avatar. You're
horribly
thinking
sad.
Avatar, though.
The whole
These
series
are
is on
This one
Patreon.
came out after Avatar.
Not the
DJ
movie, not the live action movie. Definitely didn't.
Label
I watched
Klein, I don't
that
know
prior.
what the fuck this
I
is.
was very confused,
Murr
but
should try and punch you through the internet.
That's why I keep
DJ
looking that way towards the hallway. And then I just see
Klein.
Greg's legs. In
Labelli
situations
Klein-
like Speak
Labella
with Dead,
Klein?
Matt, the DM has a lot of control over how forthcoming to be. What did you factor into the choice of how much to give up from the Severed Heads? Was it just the high quality of the Mighty Nine's deception, or
Severed
did you
Heads.
also feel that they needed some more breadcrumbs?
No, that was. When I think of those scenarios, I think one, whatever it is that died, what is their relationship with the person who's asking? And the type of questions that are being asked, what do they have to lose by giving this information up? If the questions being asked are things that could be detrimental to allies or whatever the fallen figure was, so they're not going to be forthcoming with any of that information.
Of course.
But it's also information that isn't the actual soul of the creature there. It's just information being recalled with a sense of, those factors involved. And so the deception honestly did better than I expected. I was kind of hoping to hold on to some of that information, to be perfectly honest. And
So they
breadcrumb
did
that
have
a little
to
further, but
have some
you
sort of
guys pulled together kind of a fun little
rolling
plan
to
there. And
get
I was
what
like,
they
well,
got.
I'm not going to, I'm going to reward
See, I wasn't exactly
that.
clear on.
I had a feeling as I was
rules.
thinking about this for. I keep covering my mouth when I do that. I was thinking about this for a while that this was a act that had been done many like if you're running basically what is a funeral home. And you have powers and people that this is available. One of the things that occasionally had to have come up is when you have to interrogate a cadaver over some information, or like give somebody some information from somebody who's passed on. And so this is probably in D&D. Specifically, I was specifically thinking of the Clay family. Specifically as this is a thing that they do. So this was a thing he had watched happen many, many times. Of you put on a form, you talk to a body, and then you go talk to the family and tell them what they need to know or whatever information. And that this was like, I can't believe I'm going to abuse this weird thing that we normally do for very specific reasons, but fuck, here we are, and
I like that.
yeah, like
But
this was
fuck, here we are.
definitely a.
fuck, here
I've
we
seen
are.
this done, and I'm gonna, in better circumstances. So yeah.
This guy's got some layers, man. This Caduceus dude. I want to focus on him a little bit, but I know we're gonna really get there.
Season 2 of Hannibal is a good take. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but just stop there.
No, yeah.
Stop after season 2. Matt,
I hear the same thing.
Astro
I hear the first couple
Decoy
are
wants to know the history
some
check.
of the greatest television.
That history
ever.
check was a
But it
26.
gets
How high
kinda
was
like
that
Dexter.
DC
I've
to
never
find
seen
out
Dexter.
about? Is it
I hear
Karis?
everything's great till like season 4 or 5 or 6 or
Also-
something, and then you stop.
No, you don't. Also ironic, such
I
an
think it was
important
season
place is
4.
spelled
After
so
season
closely
4,
to
people are like,
chairs.
stop.
That's interesting.
Oh, I don't like that look one
Oh no, is this anything based on the Ottoman Empire? By any chance?
around me are familiar.
I know about the Ottoman Empire.
Terrible. I'm so sorry.
No,
the chairs.
I had set the DC for that to be about 27, 28.
Oh,
there.
whatever.
Because it's
Just
because of the nature of what it is.
Just above what they did.
I don't want to put it at 30 because it wasn't, near impossible,
Yeah,
but
I
like,
gotcha. I got
it's
you.
close to there. It's a very, very, very hard to find place that has almost no knowledge about it whatsoever, and the few that do would never have crossed paths with any of the people that are in the campaign. So I figured that would be a very, very high DC, and none of them would really have that information unless they rolled really fucking high. So I was like,
We don't have an archaeologist in the group. We don't have
exactly.
Yeah.
If you have a member of the Cobalt Soul, but you have a person who is,
Expositors. They don't
an
really know
expositor.
shit.
They
I
she
know.
was like
I
the most
remember the
studious
scene they're talking
independent,
about.
and so
I forget.
An archaeologist?
You'd probably do it with something like Sage. You would have to
Scholar.
just kind of homebrew it a little bit and just make that their backstory.
And there are variations in some of the other like ancillary books that have come out since then that can fit into that space
Ooh,
as well.
Sa-
I'm
an-
wondering if
Sage
in the
Ranger,
beginning, I skipped
bet
the
would be an
beginning. Sometimes I watch it.
archaeologist.
I saw it was like 10
that's
minutes
a
and
good
I'm like,
Indiana Jones.
I'm doing it
or,
after the
or
live
what's the
stream.
character from the Mummy?
Next character.
It's
I'm
funny
playing
they're talking
Sage
about
Ranger's
archaeology in Indiana
Yeah,
Jones.
when you're diving
I
in the,
just
Yeah,
in
exactly.
between the
She
live stream and
probably
jumping
will.
into
game
this.
because
They just had the
run you
red
over with
carpet of Indiana
something
Jones
or other.
and the Dial of Destiny. And
Inquisitor
Harrison
once
Ford
in
looked
a-
like he was crying, got a standing ovation.
Caduceus we saw during the corpse interrogation was much more intense than the calm clay
Indiana
we
Jones,
usually
final
see.
one.
Was
He's
he putting on an
80-something
act,
years
or is
old.
there a very different side of Caduceus that we haven't seen yet?
His
like
hair
the
was
one
all
we
frizzed
would see
around.
his
He looked like he was a little
Both.
tipsy, maybe.
I'll
a little
say
emotional.
both. It was
He's
definitely
allowed
an
to
act
be.
because he'd seen this done before and was trying to kind of do the like the college theater get up and kind of do a thing, and it just happened to work out really well. I don't know if it would have always worked out really well, his attempt to kind of like get on stage and perform for somebody who's gone. But also, yeah, there's, I mean, I know a few people who are pretty zen in their reality, and they're not always like you tend to. There are layers, but
Yeah.
but
Who's the most zen person in the cast of Critical Role?
the most zen person in the cast of Critical Role.
Matt.
Oh, I mean, like
Well, Matt's not a.
Who's
is
the
Matt?
chillest?
Probably Leo.
Ashley, maybe.
Probably.
I
Travis,
honestly was
yeah.
gonna
It's
say
like
Ashley,
Travis
but I
is not
feel like
very
just
chill,
by
but,
being
like,
engaged
Did
in
you watch
Brian.
Game Ranch
Cook
today?
that
I saw
disagrees
some
with
of
Yeah,
it, but like,
I feel
but
like
He
Ashley
was
is Kate.
screaming
Yeah.
like he was on fire himself.
yeah,
this
I
is more of a
wouldn't think he's
judgment on
chill.
us rather than like there's just
I
no
feel
one
like
chiller.
Liam is
really
the most
is
chill.
part of the problem.
I feel like
There
I've
isn't.
seen Ashley.
and that's us.
Get a little
Ashley is the
crazy.
closest to chill we have.
I don't know.
Do you know what's the fucking chillest
I mean,
shit in the world?
Liam does go off on a time to time
Cosplay
too.
of the week.
Yeah, it is.
Cosplay of the
saw-
week already.
he
My
blew
God.
it.
Oh, that's right. 'Cause we are.
Yeah.
Actually, that's right.
What
I'm
a
looking. We're like
Clearly.
almost 20 minutes in, but they
the
spent a lot of
graphics
time in the
great.
beginning. What do we got? Last
So
week,
good.
Someday
they
someone's gonna
accidentally
make a
showed the
Mollyco
art
with the
up front.
cosplay of the week logo on the back.
Oh, that'll be great.
It's too late. I said
Let's
it
see if
now.
we can
I'll
guess.
wear
What do
it.
we got? I'm gonna go with.
I'm sorry.
No better.
Hey, gang,
We'll
our
know if
winner
it's
for this
Caduceus.
week was sent in
I'm
by
gonna go 4.
Alec McLeod.
I think it's gonna be 4.
at
No, Caduceus. I'll go Caduceus. No, not. I'm gonna go not.
Gravitia
That's my
cosplay?
final
Gravitia
guess.
cosplay.
Not.
It's gonna be on the screen. Photo by at Hope and Ashes. Let's take a look. Ooh, this one's good.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
I got it.
good.
Wait, that's
So
yes,
good.
not.
Wow, that's
I am a
awesome.
genius.
I love perspective too.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of myself.
Man, I'm so glad we're finally getting.
A little
Wait.
long hair too.
Yeah.
What is that?
Great.
Hey,
Gravity. Wait, that isn't.
Colorado.
It could.
Got
It's
the
been
crazy
weird.
eyes down
That's a
too.
lot of detail.
What was
going on
that?
there.
Yeah.
Congrats
Gravity.
to you, Alec.
Well done, Alex.
You have won.
I thought
this
I heard him say that, but I
Bolivian
thought he was
Rosewood
just saying the
tabletop
name of the
tray from our
person.
friends at Wormwood Gaming. Our winner for fan art of the week will also be.
Yeah.
This one is especially.
I have
Look
to
at how
rewatch it. I have to
beautiful.
rewatch
Got a
it.
lot happening.
Sent in by Alec McLeod at Gravite.
Oh, it is at
Gravitia
Gravit. So that is
cosplay?
not,
Gravitia
right?
cosplay. It's going to be on the screen. Photo by at Hope and Ashes. Let's take a look. Ooh, this one's good.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
So good.
What is?
So good. Nice
Wow,
wig.
that's awesome.
I love perspective too.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so glad we're finally getting.
I dig it, but what is with the
too.
mask
Yeah.
in the neck? Am I missing something?
That was great.
Hey, maybe if we're lucky,
Is
this
it-
weekend at Colorado.
It could.
got
It's
the
been
green
weird.
flags down.
That's a lot of detail going on there.
Yeah, it was
Congrats
amazing.
to you, Alex.
I thought they.
Well done,
I got
Alex.
lost
You have
for a
won
second because I
this
thought they were saying the name of the
Bolivian
character was
Rosewood tabletop
Gravitia
tray from
or
our friends
something
at
like
Wormwood
that.
Gaming.
Because the way Brian was like,
Fan
I
art of the
can't
week
pronounce it. It got me thrown off.
This one
Either
is
way.
a special. Look at how
Magnificent.
beautiful.
It's got a
this
lot
is.
happening.
I feel
in
like
there.
I'm right. I feel like
also-
that's not. But now I'm like, is
I'm
it
gonna have
something
to take this.
mixed with not? What's
Wait,
with
keep,
the?
yeah, because it's got the,
what's
it's
with
got the
mask?
weird stripe,
got
the
it.
Is that
tiger
supposed to be
stripe
like
going through it.
that?
Let's
Yeah,
tell
like
Bobby at
Jeff?
Wormwood to go ahead and send Alec a different one because this one's gonna. Oh, guys, this one's gonna come home with me. Smell that while I prepare this question for
I'm trying to
my
think of
next
the mask.
victim.
Has it been
which
that
is-
long since
you know what
the reference
sucks?
that I don't even remember?
It smells
Isn't
good.
that beautiful?
It's really nice.
Yeah. Box huffers, right here.
Box
.com.
sniffers?
Box
Box.
huffers.
Worm,
Box huffers?
box huffers.
Don't go.
Worm,
Steve, Google it before the kids do.
Please don't.
Oh no.
Damn it.
Don't give me that look. I
Nothing's
said
okay
nothing. I
ever
said nothing
anymore.
wrong. Every week, during either fan art of the week or cosplay of the week, or what used to be gift of the week, the iPad just restarts for no reason, and then I stall while I look up this question for Matt from Loopty Dude.
yes, that's a really good stall.
It's not an iPad; it's a generic tablet. If it was an iPad, it'd work perfectly.
I was gonna say, if it was an iPad, it probably worked perfect.
Was it a surprise that the Mighty Nein would accept taking a path through the barbed fields as easily as they did, or was it pretty much a given that they were going to?
I was a little surprised by it. There wasn't much of a debate about it. It just kind of happened. I probably lean on Travis a lot for that, for just being the instigator that he is at times.
There was
It
going
could have
to be a
been
debate,
horrible.
and then Travis happened, and we're like, nope, never mind. This is-
wanted them to do
There's
it.
a whole,
but
it's a
part of me
longer
was like,
journey,
this
it's a
is
safer
possibly
journey.
a
There were a
horrible
couple other
decision.
possible encounters that could happen along that path, but they went, no, let's just drive right through the middle of the scary place. I'm like, all right.
Assume for me, if you will, his motivations in doing that.
Loopity
It's
doo.
Travis. He's always a big believer in the worst possible scenario.
Yeah, and I love it as a
Yeah,
DM.
no, he is very much a believer in.
But I was expecting there to be like resistance from you guys when he did that. I was like, oh, Travis. But no, seriously.
thought about
and
it.
everyone went, cool. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, I thought about it.
All right,
Like, nah,
we're
never mind.
going. Let's go right through the middle of the fucking barbed field.
kind of want to see
Why
this
not?
shit anyway.
I am
Yeah.
honestly shocked.
Crazy thing about
Not
Travis
that we
in
made
this
it through, but that we
campaign
didn't
and
encounter
is
more.
that he is both an agent
Sooner.
of chaos and an agent of order.
I mean, we did get our fair
very
share.
weird.
We had
Very
four
I think that's
crazy-looking
Travis
foes
is, yeah.
with
Yeah.
baddies.
But I think that's also part of,
Travis
of
is
Ford's
that.
journey. Is if Ford's trying to figure out
Too
which
much
he
for
is.
us.
Like a lot of his, he's a whole character who's been struggling with just identity since the very beginning, and I think that's part of his journey too, is figuring out like what it is,
Brian's pillow
what kind of
keeps
force he
catching
wants to
my
be
eye.
on the world around him.
Yeah.
The
and he's
eyes
swung both ways as
are
far as like being a completely destructive,
seducing my
chaotic force to
soul.
trying to be a leader, to trying to
Look at the
be
blue
force for good, and
craziness.
I don't know where he's going. I'm real interested to see.
Me too, man. Mysterious. Taliesin, Zachary Powell wants to know your thoughts on the group's, or Ford's more specifically, excitement to travel to the barbed fields. A desecrated spot like that would definitely rub Caduceus the wrong way,
He
right?
wanted to see it. I will admit. There was the moment of like, and he's also, yeah, Caduceus had a weird near-death experience that's kind of left him a little nutty. I don't want to say nutty. That's not right. That's not nice. It's a I'm not going to say he's making the best. He's not in the headspace to be making the best decisions right now.
I got you.
But he was kind of. There's something about this whole place that bothers him on an intrinsic level, and he feels very much like he wants to get a better sense of the place. And so he had a moment of like, that seems dangerous. That's, we're going to have to see
I
this
mean, it makes
eventually.
sense.
Fuck it. Let's roll through and see what this is, because we need to get a sense of the territory.
I like that about him versus, oh, this seems weird or dangerous. I'm getting out of here.
It doesn't matter if it's weird or dangerous. We're on a.
He wants to understand it.
We're on a mission from the goddess, and
Yeah.
so everything we do is right.
We're on a mission from
Blues Brothers.
God. Yes,
We're on
it
a
was a
mission from
Blues
God,
Brothers
mission from
reference.
God.
We're on a mission from
But
God.
yeah, so
My
he's
sunglasses reference was going.
he's
I thought the
having
same
a hard
thing.
time.
You know
like,
me, I
his
always
risk
go with the
assessment
movie
is a little off
references.
right now.
Matt,
is what I'll
usually
say.
someone
you get
else
exploded by an ally.
It
comes
is.
up with it.
To
too.
be fair.
I'll never forget the look on Sam's face.
Oh my God.
That was a great night. That was a great night that will live forever.
Fucking beautiful.
It's rare
had
that
a
we
great
get.
time.
It's rare that we get one of those moments where you've really got him. Like
Sam
he's-
especially. 'cause
He's,
Sam,
Yeah.
Sam's,
he knows like
Sam's quicker than anyone gives him credit for. Like he's a strategist, though he plays the fool. And when it's rare to see him completely thrown off his game like that.
Wait, who doesn't give him credit for being quick? You're saying that anyone gives him credit for it.
Well, some people do on the internet.
I do. He's a comedic genius.
Right, but he acts like he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing all the time.
Yeah, but that's his ploy.
It's
You
true.
know how I act like an edgelord douchebag, but then when the cameras are off, I'm like, hey guys, you know?
I feel like everything I see Sam
can't
do, though,
agree
that's
with
like
that.
his character.
I think the only
Not
thing,
just
the cameras
Sam
make
Riegel,
it quieter. I haven't really
but
figured
also
out
his
how to do anything
characters.
else.
Knot and Scanlan, both very
Is there a way we can just
don't
always
feel like
have a
I'm
camera
wrong
on
here.
Brian?
chaotic
Right.
people, to put it
I
nicely,
laugh at
in
the
their
truth.
own
It's been a
ways,
while
different
since I broke you. I
reasons,
was hoping not quite.
different
Okay,
ways, both
not quite.
chaotic.
I can wait. I'm a patient man.
Man, I love you guys.
I mean, Knot is totally
I
different
can
without
dish it
the
out and
alcohol.
I can take
now
it.
that
I
Yez
just
is
end up
around.
crying.
And ever since the
Because it's so
story was
true.
unfolding,
It's so
the
close to
drinking
home.
got less and less,
Because it hits home.
but still chaotic.
You know, it's not even close to home. It's home.
I'm so distracted by the amount of denim you're wearing right now that I didn't hear any of that.
I pointed
Yeah,
this.
giving
or
some
I was
love
gonna
to my Canadian
point it out
friends,
earlier.
you know, except
He is
Quebec.
rocking
By,
the denim, and it's
Canadian
faded denim, like a
tuxedo.
stonewash
He's
look
not
from
from
the top
Quebec.
down.
You said Canadian
The
friends.
jeans are
Except Quebec.
super denim.
He loves it.
super blue denim.
I'm trying to get to the questions,
Compared to the
everyone.
shirt,
Yes, please.
Matt
it literally
Sorenell
just
wants to
gradually
know.
gets
Yes,
more faded to
please.
darker.
Sorrow sworn, did I
Hey,
say that right?
Yes.
We're,
I dig
damn it,
denim.
we're truly terrifying this episode. When you create encounters with some of the stranger creatures, what do you
Sorrow
focus on to
sworn.
make these creatures feel as weird and as terrifying as they
The
are?
dude told me that name.
Oh man, that was so much fun.
Yeah, that'll do.
Saurusworn in particular are just a fascinating creature because their design is inherently based in emotions. They are creatures that represent different negative emotions and that kind of ties
I said
to
this in
their-
the live stream.
their,
I'm pretty sure it's
Shadowfell
Silent Hill,
lineage and
but
their
something
essence. And so
screams
that's already
and
a great
moans that
basis to go
reminds
off of.
me exactly of these
But then
things.
it's looking at their abilities, looking at their
And I can't
history, and
remember if
then
I'm
for
right
me,
with Silent Hill or
I
if
just love
it's
doing
something
creature
else
noises and coming up with
horror-related.
weird physical quirks and things to really drive home moments that I want to feel like a horror film, you know, or things
Yeah.
that can
like
you know
the
play on
cracking and popping
players,
when they walk and the limbs
who aren't
and
expecting that type
spikes
of,
and
scenario like Travis. And Travis is just such
Running
a
at
great
us.
sounding board anyway. But like, I knew I was probably gonna get Travis. I didn't know I was gonna get as much of the table as I did with it. And a lot of that also ended up being
Yeah,
impressed, the whole
Travis
like,
is not
rush
good with
movement,
the horror,
you know,
we know
that just kind of
this.
came out in the moment. But a lot of that's just thinking about the creature and what freaks it out, you know, what freaks you out about it, and then taking those little pieces and leaning into them when you have the opportunity to introduce them to the party.
Yeah.
Basically made a jump scare with just your voice. It was crazy.
And yeah, I wasn't expecting to have that big a reaction.
It was so great.
I walked away from that battle very proud.
Please do it
I was
more
like,
often.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
The heads was
Yeah,
good
not
too.
undead. Cyrusborn.
Not
was a
just
lot
the
of fun.
battlefield,
That was a good. Well, you're still
but when he
still
did
a lot
the
of
head
barbed fields to go
voices,
through. So
Oh,
you're,
man.
very
I'm really into it.
much leaning towards a horrific episode all
Yikes.
around.
Taliesin,
Good times.
T. Mandy II. You have explained how Cad views the differences
T-Mandy.
between the living and the dead, but how does he view otherworldly
Second.
or twisted creatures like you just
T-Mandy.
fought?
Oh
that
man,
was
I
explained?
haven't had time to even process that.
Do you
I don't
say
even.
the
I don't.
second?
I
The
don't
does
think
not
he
there.
has
Commandy
really thought
second.
about it, and I'm curious to. I'm curious to see how that's going to play out in his brain. I don't really. He was pretty confused through a lot of that fight. He didn't really get frightened. He didn't really have like a grotesque, like the grotesque effect didn't really.
My apologies.
Like hit him where he lives, and he's used to seeing some weird stuff. But it was, he was mostly unnerved that these were not the undead. That this was something else. That was really, really unnerving to him. That this is now something he can't see, and that he's not really
And they said
prepared
it's from another
for.
plane
Was kind
of
of
existence.
was a lot, and then
The
having
abyssal
Caleb go
realm.
unconscious was definitely a bit of a
During
fright.
the live stream, I was going the abysmal,
and having
realm,
to bolt
which
him
I'm
back
sure
to,
it is
back to life
abysmal,
pretty
too.
quick.
yeah.
but it's abyssal.
What's his AC at?
It's like 11.
Wait, Travis? I mean?
No,
No,
Caleb.
Caleb
Oh,
was like
Caleb.
11.
Caleb, yeah, I think it's
Might be
13.
12 now with
Oh
the
my
ring.
God.
with the
He's a
ring. It's
ring
12
innovator.
unless you cast Mage Armor, which goes up to 15, I think.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
if he has
Yasha's still
a
like a
ring
hardy 11.
and a spell on,
That's just at 14 though.
no, Yasha's
barely
like
at-
her AC is like 11.
Her AC is
I'm
low.
pretty sure it's 14 because it's for barbarians. It's Dex plus Constitution.
Yeah,
as long as you're not wearing armor.
hers is like 14 or something
I think
like that.
I
It's
think
not
plus-
crazy
She has
low.
plus 2 Dex and plus 2 Cons, so I think she's at
I mean,
14.
we
She
knew
might be at
Caleb was
14
squishy.
then.
But she
I
also
mean,
has
if
been
he
around
could
when
jack
you guys got
himself
all
up to
upgrades and stuff,
15,
and-
Yeah.
that's not
Things might just be-
horrible.
That's going to change.
where
I don't know
we're
if you guys
going
heard, but it's
and
the,
where
this
we've
next
been-
season of her show is going to be the final one.
It's true.
I mean,
It's all I asked for Christmas.
Same. For 4 years.
That's all
I-
we
I-
ask for
no.
Christmas.
It's a blind spot. Great team, great people
The show
involved.
We're
is
already
parody.
beyond
The show is
halfway.
wonderful.
The
We
show
24
is-
minutes.
Ashley.
Yeah.
We're probably going to do fan
Connor
art
Lesby has a
very
question
soon.
for Matt to change the subject quickly before NBC calls me. How is it getting? How is it getting to flesh out Xhorhas? They don't know what Twitch is, which is a very different region than what we've seen before. When building a culture of largely monster races, how do you work to make it feel distinct while avoiding cliches and stereotypes? This is a really good.
That's a great question.
I like it.
A lot of it was studying the existence
this is
of monster
shit Matt
races
can
and a lot
answer.
of like D&D lore, mythological lore.
I know
and
they do
wanting
handpick
to
the questions,
just
and that's why
do
it's
the best
usually
I
a lot
can
of the same
to
people because of
steer clear of
greatness.
falling into those pits, but not completely pull them out of their history and where they come from. You know, there's still there are some creatures that might exist in that space, like in Tal'dorei. You know, there are still a dark elf society that falls, you know, that worships sloth, but have been driven crazy. But for this particular, for Xhorhas, I wanted to reinvent a lot of those elements and just develop a society that would be unexpected, but and that process, that beginning process, was then me going, okay, well, how would they function together? What would happen if they weren't tethered to these, you know, demon lords and other entities that seem to drive them to this chaos? And then it began to just breed into, you know, clans, nomadic clans, and then, you know, people that live off the land that probably warred amongst themselves, and then some were unified via, you know, clan unions, and then especially under the guidance of those who wished or chose to join with the dynasty. You know, what tensions would arise because of that, but also what benefits to each side would enable that to happen. A lot of it was trying to understand what's problematic about some of these creatures and how they're presented in some types of games. Try to avoid that, and then develop enough independently of these cultures and how they would exist outside of that realm, and then kind of watch what happens naturally. You know, it's kind of a cool thing with world building. People who've done some world building with their own campaign will understand that when you build independent sections of the world to a certain extent, and then kind of as a thought experiment, think, what happens if they were to come together? It kind of begins to write itself.
Yeah.
Just making logical thoughts, like, well, it makes sense that they would do this, and these people would do this, and this would cause this problem.
I
and
understand
these people
what he's
might
saying,
help that with that
even though
problem.
I
It's kind of like a programmer
do
that
that
develops
kind of
a system.
I mean,
and
I feel
then
like I've done
just puts in a
similar
few
things,
variables and
variations
says
that
what happens.
make
And you get to
sense
watch it
in that
unfold.
Yeah.
It's a similar
explanation.
thought experiment when you're world building like that. So. For me, it was building up all these little separate individual elements of Xhorhas, and then seeing what would happen as they came together, and then it kind of wrote its own
letting it
history.
happen.
And it was a lot. It was a really fun,
mash
very
together
different experience
and
than anything
build
else
its
that
own world.
I've written. And
Damn.
I love Xhorhas and the dynasty and everything about it. I'm excited. You guys got there sooner than I expected. So I definitely had to like crank the gas a bit on fleshing out some of that world building.
It's one of the more interesting places, that's for sure.
But I'm really enjoying it.
Were we even supposed? I say supposed to. I know this.
There's
is
no supposed to,
There's
but
no
I was-
supposed to. Were you surprised that we got the dodeca, or were you? Was that something? Did you have a plan for that?
That you got it, you mean?
That we managed to obtain the dodeca.
I knew it was a possibility.
Okay, that's fine.
Which is why you guys lost it. Like it was a thing where it was, you know, depending on if you just stayed out of this and like ran, it wouldn't have happened. But if you had enough curiosity, which I knew as players you might, you would probably try and find out what's going on, and you know, went to the sewers, and then where you intersected with this Korean soldier, and then there was a conflict with them, which you could have killed him and taken it. You kept him alive and let him leave with it, and I was like, all right, well, it's gone. But then you decided to, you know, I was like showing you, well, it's kind of showing you the
Like
consequences
like
of what
at
you
some
did. Now
point,
you see the
would we
you
have
know,
had
the
to have
Crown's Guard
gotten it to
taking
get where
So
we
there
are?
you go.
But
You fucked up.
Matt's
Now
like
they have
nothing.
It.
It's for sure.
Can't really say fucked up. It just meant that it would have returned
No,
to
of
who it had it.
course. I mean, I was laughing just because of how cute it was.
But you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
But then you guys are like, all right, we're gonna hatch a plan to try and get it back. I'm like, all right, let's see how this works out. And you did. So like, you know, I try and create things where I have ideas on what you might do, and sometimes you do it. Sometimes you completely subvert my expectations.
I feel like we haven't screamed pub crawl in a while, which is probably for the.
You
at some
haven't.
point, yeah, at some point that'll happen.
You
again.
haven't. You haven't done a Rosanna.
Xhorhas?
Pub crawl.
Pub crawl and Rosanna would be fun.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a pub crawl group. I'm certainly not the player that's.
Yeah,
going to yell
I
at
mean,
this.
honestly,
This is
there's
not-
so
this is not
many
what Clay's
things we
about.
need to
That's
do.
true.
I wouldn't mind a pub crawl episode,
You know.
but I feel like there are
Juice
it's
crawl.
so many
Juice
things.
crawl, there you go.
Caleb and
smoothies.
Yasha and
Tea
Ford's
crawl.
art finishing
Basically
and
what happened at Ren
just
Fair.
everything else
That's true. I don't.
combined in our group. Caduceus, we barely know anything about him and his
I'm very
goals
quiet.
and
I don't.
family.
I don't imbibe the way I used to anymore. That's very true.
Did you guys get smoothies at Ren Fair?
We did. I got it. We got smoothies. I got a strawberry apple smoothie. It was great.
I got locked in the security office.
Yeah, I helped with that.
Oh, so that call did go through.
Yeah.
See, I don't know if he's joking. I could believe he really
Excellent.
was.
I know people.
I'm beginning to
security.
suspect my betters were involved in this. Taliesin Costumer Delight wants to know.
I went to a.
You had a very
baseball game
visible
once.
reaction to Laura
And
when
one of
she
my
went into the Overcrow in
exes, who was
disguise
my
and used
girlfriend
her
at the time,
Vexalia voice.
Got so
What was
rowdy
going through
they
your
had to
head?
put
Did
her
that
in
inspire your Percy-like
a
diplomacy
cell, a
with
security cell.
Mayo in the
Percy liked to
And had her
diplomacy. I was
banned
nice and I
for
made no
life.
threats.
But there has to be a connection,
But
Taliesin.
Taliesin,
It wasn't
there
Yankee
was
Stadium, it was,
definitely
If something
Giants-
happens, it
Giants
has
Stadium
to
football.
flavor every element
got
of your
so
character choice.
Technically,
messed up.
no, it was I was not expecting that voice. It had been a while,
I don't-
and I'm
I
also
stopped
part of me
dating
was
her
like,
shortly
what part of Jester is being channeled right now? Holy!
She's learning from Ford's
I
deception.
was having a moment of like,
so.
who are you?
Yeah.
I haven't been thinking. Yeah, I definitely had a moment of I have not been paying enough attention apparently because I don't know what the fuck this is.
Oh, man.
No,
I know.
who
That
have I
was,
gotten involved with?
it's good to hear that voice.
He's
though.
got no
know, I
pads.
missed it.
Good for
Fan
the
art's
soul.
coming.
It's good for
Fan
the
art's
soul.
coming. Who's in
Do
fan
you know what
art?
else is good for the soul, guys?
Fan art of the week.
Fan art of the week.
Yes!
Well, I knew it.
You stepped on my line.
Who could it be?
Yeah, I did.
Heads? Tell me it's fan art of Talking Heads.
Happy birthday, Art Day.
Oh, who's
I hope it's either Talking Heads or
Our dad
the
and Beck's mama.
the.
This week's fan art winner for
The
Camping 2
monsters.
episode 64 was sent in by Sunset Dragon.
Is it one
at
of the-
underscore
one of the
Sunset
creatures?
Dragon underscore. Let's
Or the
take a look.
heads?
This is cute. This
Or
is
Jester.
so cute, guys.
Oh, I didn't see this.
That's adorable.
It's Jester the Moth.
Oh,
With
there's
the bee.
lollipops and donuts in the wings with
I
the little
love it.
moons.
I gotta dig
my
it.
God.
Jester Moth is adorable.
Jester Moth.
Jester Moth is amazing.
the
I mean, they're
lollipop.
both adorable.
Still there.
I know.
Oh man.
Oh, Eric. You pretty
Eric
bee.
the Bee.
Ah, that's so cute.
He died doing what he loved,
Being a bee.
being slapped against someone's neck.
Eric the Bee and
Thank you to
Jester
everyone who
Moth.
submitted. Congrats to you,
That
Sunset
might have
Dragon. You
never
also
been a
won this-
guess.
Not this one, because I got to take
I
this one,
said-
unfortunately.
did I
But
say
Abe,
Jester?
Olivia,
I
and
think
Rose
I
with
said right at
Tabletop
the end. I think
you
I
can
said
enter our weekly contest.
either Talking
Now,
Heads,
this
the
is important
creatures, or
because it's
Jester.
changed. You
And
can
if I
enter by
didn't,
visiting
I was thinking it.
critrole.com.
I might have said it. But I didn't think Jester Moth, let alone
was great.
Eric
Slash
the Bee.
submit for,
We were talking about it in the live stream.
Rules for our
Everyone was like,
contest
"You
are
remember
available
Eric the
at
Bee?"
critrole.com.
Maya
Thank
the
you
Bee.
to
I remember
Wormwood
Maya
for,
the Bee.
again, sponsoring
See
fan
her
art
flying
and
everywhere?
cosplay of the week, which is
Hell
so
yeah.
Buzzing
cool of them
here.
to do. So
good art
both our
and
winners every
cosplay
week are
this
getting a
week.
badass gift.
I used to watch
glad we
Maya the
got
Bee
that
all
up
the
and
time.
running.
It was
That's good.
Nickelodeon. If you don't know, go check it
It's
out.
going to be
Great
going
theme
for a
song.
very long time because there is a lot of fucking
God, there's so much
insanely good
cosplay. It's
cosplay
so
out there.
good.
I am very excited to
Ooh.
see future cosplay.
And the gallery,
Down to
the
15
gallery is amazing.
minutes.
Okay, all right. Well, don't get me started with shit. Taliesin,
Yeah.
Megan, Hannah wants to know. After the Mighty Nein
I feel like
thoroughly
they did
humiliated the
fan art
foreman of the mine, Caduceus said
way
that was the
early.
meanest thing he'd ever
could be
done to
wrong.
someone
Either way.
not related to him. Can you share any stories of the pranks Clay has pulled on his siblings?
Please do without spoilers. Matt
Well-
is looking at you hard.
I suppose this would not be uncanonical if I will say that one of the things that I thought about when I was thinking of the sorts of terrible things that not I would do to my siblings, because I've done terrible things to my siblings, but I am also the eldest in my family and he is not the eldest in his, and so the power dynamic's a little different.
Yeah.
I would like to imagine that at one point in a fit of anger at his sister, he and a couple of the siblings very, very quietly over several hours in the middle of the night slowly
Cut her hair.
lifted them in their bed by the mattress, carried them on the mattress while sleeping very slowly out of the house,
we doing a
and placed
meatballs?
them in one of the trees surrounding
Kind
the-
of like meatballs, where you throw them on the lake.
and let them wake up
Someone
tree.
referenced meatballs.
pretty silly.
Did they
I would like to
fall
think.
down and get hurt?
I would imagine they probably either fell
Are
out
you
of the
ready
tree
for the
or
summer?
had a bit of a panic attack.
They would
waking
always
up in a
put
tree.
Lou.
Cure wounds.
I'm pretty sure his name was
Level,
Lou.
take care of-
I mean, like, we're not all clerics.
would
Never mind.
always
But, like,
put
there's
Lou-
clerics there. You know.
There's clerics.
Bed
There's a
in
few.
interesting places.
Whatever,
It
it's gonna be
ended on the
fine.
lake.
What a cool
I don't know if he
sibling.
ever was in a tree.
Pretty awesome.
They're yeah.
I feel like he was on a lifeguard
Also
station.
definitely left a single scar across the face to remember them by.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Kidding. No, God.
There was
no.
also a movie I saw
Goodness,
growing
at
up
what
called
age did
Indian
you do
Summer.
this?
kidding, no.
Caduceus.
All-star cast of people.
Boy, my thoughts on him is really changed.
I know.
I'm pretty
that's
sure
hilarious. Thank
Alan
you for
Arkin
sharing that story.
He was
Alan Arkin?
he was in a he was terrible. No, I'm just kidding.
was the
Matt.
Turns out, he's a
owner of the camp,
psychopath.
and they would do
No,
all
we saw
sorts of
Bam.
pranks
Yeah,
similar to that.
the other
too.
week, Marisha reveals she's the big bad.
I feel like that's
now
a camp,
Taliesin's
like,
going on
kinda
about
thing.
this is
Like a
crazy.
summer camp
We did
kind
a
of
lot of
prank.
Did that
stuff.
happen? Man, I'm so glad I don't watch.
Yeah,
this
don't
show
watch
except
the
when I'm
show.
doing- No.
Robert Elstob wants to know for Matthew.
Robert, yes.
Robert.
It was a nice
With the
little look
unexpected
into
shift to
the
Xhorhas,
pranking of
have you found it
Caduceus
difficult coming up with
before
new
we knew
creatures
him.
to make encounters interesting?
Not really, because if I can't find anything in the book that works, I'll just make something up. You know,
Yeah, you do have a little workshop out there where you.
well, that's one. I mean, well, you know, you can proxy minis for it,
course.
which I do often, because you'll notice not all the minis are available, or I have them. But yeah, like one of the fun things about this game is it's
I feel
not
like
in the book. You can just go
the
to the page
relationship
yourself.
we have with
used to
Dwarven
make some
Forge,
crazy ass minis back in the day.
that at this
I'm-
point they
I
would
used to-
make anything.
I'm not
put a
going to
roll
mention
on it if
anything
they
in
haven't
Kitmatched
already
in case you
done
end up
that.
using it for
At
this, but
this
like there
rate,
was some
we're-
stuff you made, and I think you know the thing
They're
I'm
super
talking about.
famous.
With,
I do.
yeah,
Yeah.
that fucked me up, man. That was crazy.
That wouldn't fit in this. I made
that not?
I made a thing called a Dragon Engine once
Yeah.
in an older campaign.
Fuck.
That was it was designed to be essentially an engine that built a disease that turned all dragons in this world slowly into crystal. And in this one campaign, the dragons themselves, their existence was what kind of held all the different planes together. Like they were not like good or bad. Their essence magically held all of the planes together. And so the more dragons died, the more the planes began to like bleed over, and the elemental chaos began to break
Chunks
into
of
the
that
world.
come from the dollar store, if I recall, because like there were
Yeah,
like, that
yeah.
thing.
I cut up a bunch of things, and it was like a fleshy doll head that
Yeah.
had like all this. I covered with hot glue to make it look all weird and malformed, and then like cut up a bunch
That
of dragon
sort of
pieces
stuff
and
is
gave it like
creepy.
wings in odd places, and then painted it.
Dolls
to look,
melted
like tentacle
and
bits
ripped
and like
apart.
or not, it had like the weird and there was the giant weird head and
Reminds me of Toy Story,
I had
right?
inspiration
Wasn't
for
it Toy Story?
For
The
those
kid
who don't know,
that
there's a game,
ripped
the
apart all
the
the
Darkstalkers series.
dolls and toys made
in one
like
of the
creepy
Darkstalkers
shit.
games, they had a level, one of the boss levels called Fetus of God, that was like this
Guardians
giant, horrible,
3, if you've seen
like
that,
God fetus in the
you know what I'm
background. That
talking
would,
about.
like at the end of the
Creepy,
at the end of a
monstrous
fight would like
creations.
waken and scream this like earth-shattering scream. It was messed up. The big inspiration for the design for this,
Things
but it
that
had
are
like it had like an
cute,
umbilical
that are
tether off
mutilated
of it.
into
During the fight would whip around, and
chaos
players had to avoid it or be knocked off, and it was really messed up.
Melted.
yeah, that's
Violent.
I mean, that,
Yeah,
thing was,
to be on the
that
map.
thing was so intense, and like finding out that you just fucking made it out of 99-cent store bullshit was so irritating.
And you can find some
Mark
cool stuff in the
Zuckerberg.
99 cent store to glue together and make strange things.
It looked legit though. We were like,
He's
what
not
catalog
wrong.
did you find this thing out of? And you're like, $4. And I'm like, no.
Well, like honestly, if you
Every
get some
year,
hot glue, you can make veins
I
on
hit,
things
like,
really easy, and
the
then when you
age
paint it,
of
you just put like a little bit of blue
not
on it against like a red
being
or
a
purple
child
backdrop, and it
and
looks like
caring what I had for
skinless,
Halloween costumes.
you know,
You
surface.
would get
There's a lot
drunk
of
and go to
cool,
Party
cheap,
City
super inexpensive
and
tricks
see
to
like
make really
how
messed up looking
crazy a
minis.
costume
Thing
we
was
can put
nice.
together for under $20.
Fun fight too. It was fun
We'd all
fight.
go to
Fun fight.
Party
Yeah,
City
it was good.
drunk.
Nobody from our
And it'd be
home
like, you
watches
got
the show regularly.
$20 max.
Pat and I
Come up with
bashed the
something
Leshing
insane.
for this, like, because we have
And we
nine
just had fun
players.
doing that as
Yeah,
And
adults,
we
going to
wanted
like
a big, so we got this
alcohol
Witcher, we got
costume
this like
parties.
Witcher statue, and then we've been like just.
It wasn't
but it's
you're
getting
gonna use that
about
for the
winning.
fight?
It was about being ridiculous.
That's gonna be so cool.
I'll tweet it after I tweet it after we kill a couple of them.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
night,
yeah, I wanna
and,
see it, I wanna see
it. Taliesin.
Yeah.
Skydar Studios, considering his goal to save his home, Caduceus seemed eager to move into the Xhorhas,
Xhorhas.
and start long-term living plans. Does he see
I
this
like that
place as a
name. We've said
fallback
it
home in
before.
case he's unable to complete his goal, or is he simply taking a minute to bloom where one is planted?
He was. I mean, like he had that conversation with everybody. That was the "Are we staying here? Or are we not?" Because if we're staying here, I'm gonna get comfy with that. But if we're not, and like he's aware that this is not about movement. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
That he is on a quest, and if part of that quest is staying in one place for a while, then that's what he's supposed to do. He's not measuring his success via distance. He is waiting for the next sign of what to do, and the sign at that moment was stay put. So he is doing his best to do what he feels is necessary to solve this very weird mystery. And if we're staying put, that means that the mystery is involved with something nearby, which is why he's so interested in what's around and what's happening in this place, is that he feels it is very likely connected.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, something that is there is going to lead him to what he needs to see next.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not about he's not, while there are places he needs to get to, it's not about getting there. That's not going to be what solves the problem.
Yeah.
And he knows that.
Yeah. Matt, this question is about
We probably got
Caleb. It's
one
from
or two more.
Dickamon. I never know.
Dickamon.
Dickamon, what's up, bud?
Liam posed this question last week.
Yeah.
Was dunamancy something that would have always been a part of the plot, or was it an aspect from Caleb's backstory that you decided to incorporate into the overall story?
I do remember this.
No, it had nothing to do with Caleb's backstory. It was something that came to me on my honeymoon before he had made Caleb as a character.
No shit.
Like when I was developing the
I
Korean
feel like
Dynasty.
Liam said it was probably
and
something he was
Dunamancy,
working
a lot
on.
of that,
Or
a lot
already
of that
had it.
inspiration just came on me and Marissa on our honeymoon.
Such
Put
a typical
together.
honeymoon.
I know, you tell me.
Jesus,
He's on
what
his
a
honeymoon
nickel.
and he's
Well, I'm glad the
inventing
same
Dunamancy.
shit.
See, there you go. See,
Yeah.
as long as we're in the same boat.
Oh, is this
So
the
yeah,
last
it
question?
wasn't
He
tailored for
dropped his
Caleb. It just
pad.
happened to be when Caleb's story was brought to me.
think it's
I was
last.
like, oh, well, that
Oh, no,
might be
we
an
got like 9
interesting
minutes.
tether whenever that, if ever that connection comes across, as part of the narrative.
Yeah.
And I'm still kind of reading what Liam's plans are with Caleb and all that.
People underestimate coincidence, man. There's so much coincidence
There's
that
so
feels
much coincidence.
that feels intentional, but I know for a fact isn't. It's
Yeah.
really bizarre.
Like there'll
Yeah,
be
they
things
asked
people
this
like I'll
last
see on
week.
the
I don't know
Reddit
if it was
or stuff,
exactly
people
the
be
same question, but it's
I
very
can see the
similar. It
connections
might
here
have
and
been the
there, and
exact
every now and
question.
then I'll see like, okay, no, wow, someone picked up on those themes. Those are intentional.
People are like,
But
it
I'd say
just
like
seems like it
60 to
fits so
70%
well.
of the time I'm like,
But I
holy
can see
shit,
it
you're right,
being
that's crazy.
Yeah, because
something that was totally ready to go.
It's just sometimes serendipity works in your favor, and that's once again, part of the magic of the improvised narrative of role-playing games is you all stumble through this space and you're all reactive and finding the story as it comes. When things do fit, it feels magical, but that's also just kind of what happens when no one knows what's going to happen next. Everything that does connect feels like it was destiny.
it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Just all like the number 9.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
999. I mean, we do.
Taliesin,
I feel like-
Dan Sagers wants to know, where does Caduceus
would like to
stand in
know
the
that
Empire
on
Xhorhas
Kurt
War? Does he
Stats.
even care?
On the what?
The war.
Between the Empire
Oh,
and Jordan.
he is not a part of either of. I mean, like
Where does he stand on
he's
the
not
war?
from
I feel like
either
Kurt
of
rolls
these
stats.
places.
I want to know
This is
how
a
many
foreign
of
war.
each
Yeah.
number
that he
we've
has
rolled.
fucking
Like, what is
nothing
the
to do
most
with.
rolled number as a team?
At best, he doesn't really
Of any,
like
from, like,
the
1 to
Empire
30.
because
What is the
he
most
kind
rolled
of they
number
get
by
a
the
lot of
team
the
as a
scraps
whole?
of that, and so
I
it's
wonder
kind
if
of
that's a
shitty.
stat.
But
gotta
like, I mean, he doesn't. God, I don't think he has the intelligence to really form an opinion on it beyond. I don't like whatever's happening and that I see in front of me. Like he's very big on like whatever's happening in front of me, I either approve or disapprove of. So anything more complex than that politically is just kind of very hard for him to grasp.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, he has no opinion one way or the other between the two of them. They're both two foreign countries in a fighting war that he has absolutely no stake in or understanding of. I mean, yeah, he's just they're both.
Wouldn't you think, though,
they're
at
both
this
utterly
point,
foreign to him? I suppose
he'd
would
have
be the-
formulated a
Yeah,
little bit
is there anybody
of
else
a
who's not? I mean, like, there's really not
opinion
that many
based
Empire
on the
kids
fact
the more I
that
think about it,
party
like, officially.
members
No,
go
'cause
one
we
way or the
have
other?
Ford and Chester are both Menagerie Coast, and
I
we
mean-
have, not Caleb and Bo are the only real.
Not Caleb and
Citizens
Bo.
of somewhere. Oh, well, yeah, well, I
And
guess.
honestly,
I guess technically,
now that I
yeah,
think
sure.
of it,
was
they're
Xhorhas,
not
but
even
she wasn't
really
part of
sure
the dynasty
No.
either. She
how
was
to
out in the,
handle it.
Iotha,
Would die wrong
Orleans. So the only ones that have any
Everything.
real
I mean, Caleb
connection are both.
has
Beauregard
ties
and Caleb,
to.
only because they have actual connections to
Yeah.
that society. Not
Yeah.
had more
I
of
really,
a
I guess
rural,
there really is no.
not
I mean,
politically
he would
invested
know best.
lifestyle.
This is a foreign war between two countries, only one of which he's ever heard of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
interesting.
he's,
point.
he's
I'm
not
surprised-
really
I'm just surprised-
thinking of it that way.
Yeah.
Experiences
Good point.
of
Just like,
other
that guy
party
looks hurt.
members
That's
hasn't
kind of as far as
swayed
he-
him one way or another, but
He's very big on what's in front of him.
I can't
What
really
if what's
say
west of
would be.
Westeros is Wildmount?
swayed one way or the other.
Just
Texas.
kidding, because
mean-
Ford could kick everybody's ass.
What's west of Westeros is UCLA. She went to college. She went to California and went to college. That's
She
what happened.
did.
West-
That'd be great. Ari,
It's
Ari can
literally
come
the,
into our
the spin-off
world.
is a college show. It's just
That
like
would be
I'm going
fucking sick.
I'm going to like
Watch the
Game of
shit out
Thrones.
It
that.
would be called
Spin-off?
Daria, and it would be spelled D-A-R. Because remember Daria?
That's good. That's good.
That'd be great.
One for the 90s kids. there.
Aria,
Daria.
come and join the narrative.
I
of the
remember
world.
Daria.
Is that the name of the
I've
show,
never
Greg?
It'd have a
seen
better
it.
ending.
I've seen commercials. I used to
Yes.
watch. It was MTV. I believe.
Caduceus Clay has a
Beavis and
question
Butthead,
for
other
you.
shows.
Greatest screen name
Jackass.
of all
All
time.
these shows were on. I
behind
remember
Pullout
Daria. I
King
never once watched it.
and
Nothing
Ario
against it.
Teabagging.
Mr. Steal your
Ario
mission.
Teabag and Seduces
Was
Clay.
Shakaste's
Ario
current
Teabag is my
whereabouts
favorite.
something you made up
Seduces
on the
Clay is up
spot?
there.
Or do you
Pull
have a
out
rough
couch,
idea where all the old
pull out
guest
king,
characters
pull out
are at
king.
any given time?
No, I made that up on the spot. I had no idea that Shakasta was going to come up in any of that, and I was like, oh, okay. Where would he be? And so it was a series of just quick,
The other day I saw something.
rational
Super
decisions in my
Mario
brain
Brothers.
of like where he would
Kari
probably
was
be based on
a
the things he
voice
was
in
trying to
Super Mario
accomplish.
Brothers, the
And
movie, the new one.
yeah, I
And
completely
can't
I want
remember
to
who
end
he was
every
the voice
episode
of.
now with like a flash. I wonder what Shakasta's doing right now. Have everyone look up.
Oh, he was the Penguin King. There's like a Penguin
just, you know,
King.
Playing Overwatch or
Fantastic.
something. I don't know. What
yeah.
Very
What would Shakaste's
great
name be?
comedic value in the Penguin King. I don't know if he had a name, but he was a Penguin King.
I don't know. I do nothing. I know this
I
is
like
really.
the thinking.
Yeah.
I like we're really thinking about it.
I
I
feel.
got an idea.
Oh, you think so?
Sorry.
Yeah, it's good that you got it out. You got one here.
Shat itself.
Yeah.
Boy.
I shat myself.
I got
Sorry.
an idea.
Matt just shat himself
I get
at
one.
the end. You get one. You get one on
When are we
Talks
getting the
Machina.
McCree short?
Last year.
Just kidding, it made me cry so many times. All of them make me cry, god damn it.
They're good. They're good.
Diva one's so good. Dude, Reinhardt though. Basket made me cry too.
Oh, no, sorry. Bash is my favorite because it's the most Miyazaki-esque.
It is. Hella.
I still just
Hella.
lose it every time.
You saw John Wick 3?
Yeah.
No,
What'd you
not yet.
think?
John
We
Wick
saw it,
4.
yesterday.
I assume
He's
it's
out
just
right
next-
now.
I mean, like, I love John Wick. But
I
I
God,
just
God,
love
has that
John
much
Wick
time
4
passed?
I'm
It was great.
obsessed.
Since
Good
John
day to
Wick
John
3?
Wick.
Fight,
4 years?
the fighting kicks up a notch. They do some good expanding lore
I
to the
just
world.
read this
It's
morning.
really-
I'm not even
it's
kidding.
really
This
awesome.
morning, John Wick 4
Yeah, good.
just passed
non-binary
$1
character,
billion,
like a major
or John Wick as a
character.
franchise
Absolutely.
just passed $1
They did
billion.
an amazing job.
And
the actor who
4
played him.
is
and
the biggest of all.
It's just a great film.
4
I
movies.
loved it.
It
It's
broke
just
400
like-
million,
I really
hasn't
like
even
the John
released
Wick
Fun
overseas
as
yet.
fuck, dude. It's
So
good.
Out of the house
pretty
yet.
odd
Yeah.
that it came
Keanu
up
Reeves is-
for John Wick 3. They're already making a fifth.
I'm pretty sure he's not going to pass away. He's gonna just move
He's
on
gonna
to a
transcend
pantheon.
us.
Yeah.
He'll transcend us. I want him
I
to
think
lead
he's-
us one day.
No
he's
spoilers.
He's the other eternal being that was once Elvis. It's just
But-
like his next iteration.
Oh, you
The
think
fourth
he came
one
back
ends
as
in a way
Keanu?
where I'm
Let's check
very
the
curious
I think
to see what
Keanu
they do
went
for the
back
fifth one.
and was Elvis.
I have my
think that's
ideas.
actually
That's my
some
Kingdom
theories.
Hearts time travel
Oh,
story.
But
She's
four-
right there.
that is some
Fuck
Kingdom
yeah.
It's,
Hearts
it's
shit.
phenomenal. I saw all 4 movies
it can
multiple
happen.
times. I would say
Well,
4 is the best one.
that's all the time we have for
And
tonight.
it is the highest
Brian David Gilbert.
box
good.
office.
Something you should.
I
yell
would
before
honestly
it
say
starts. I would like to thank
they
Matt
all
and
got
Taliesin
better
for
as
joining
they
us
went
tonight.
on.
That
Thank you,
took
Matt.
balls. That took
I might
fucking
like
balls
them.
to come on this show
I
after
don't know.
what you guys did Thursday. Episode 65.
Gotta do something now.
Now I'm gonna
I
got you
know.
something to think about tonight. Episode 65 is this week. Can you believe it?
It's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be cool, man.
We are so close.
Just
Four
4
more.
more, and then what happens after 4
I'm
more?
so excited.
I feel like that was the
don't think we
thumbnail
can
because
do
I
talks
felt like
after
I
that
saw
one.
What
Matt
happens in
laying
4
on
episodes?
Taliesin.
I don't know what happens.
Then we get to rest.
69 episodes of Critical Role Campaign 2.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
nice.
I feel like
69 episodes. Look at the two of them. That was good. And they both laughed at the exact same moment. Everyone in the live stream said do episode 69 as a live stream. They said, could we do the entire episode as one of
Danny,
those
did we answer all the
episodes in
good
a day that
questions?
we do sometimes?
Yeah.
Some people said
Please don't forget to love each other.
70 Something. Either way.
Don't worry, it's
we'll
almost
figure it out.
Thursday.
It's almost Thursday.
Stay turned responsibly.
Stay turned responsibly.
Creepy ain't a crime.
Stay turned
D&D.
responsibly.
Brian's sign off takes 20 minutes now.
Happens.
Wait till you see my rap sheet.
All right, guys, that's it for Talks Machina episode 64. Great, as always, to see Matt Mercer. I feel like we got a lot of interesting questions that Matt was actually able to answer. I feel like we got a deeper look at Caduceus, the questions with his family, pranking, cosplay of the week. I was so thrown off when Brian was like trying to say the name because it looked like not. But then the mask was throwing me off. Am I forgetting the reference to the mask. I was trying to guess cosplay of the week. I said every week I'm going to try to guess what the fan art is. I'm going to try to guess what the cosplay is. I went 3 different ways, but I closed in my final answer at not, and it was not. But then the mask threw me off, and the fact that Brian was saying something else, I'm like, wait. I started thinking it doesn't mean they got to cosplay one of the Mighty Nein. There could be instances where people cosplay other characters. And then I started getting thrown off, even though it looked like not the wrap and the mask and everything slightly threw me off, where I was like, wait, am I wrong now? And I celebrated my victory, and then I wasn't sure, and then I went back and it was definitely not. But the mask thing, I feel like I remember that specifically from something, or was that just trying to symbolize the fact that Not was a woman halfling? Obviously. Either way, it was good. I enjoyed it. The fan art of the week with Jester Moth and Eric the Bee. You guys talked about Eric the Bee in the live stream, reminded me. So we got a nice little fan art representing both. We talked about Colbert. We talked about Red Nose Day. And I guess we'll just end it there. It is midnight on the dot. It is literally midnight on the dot to the minute. I'm going to edit this up. Probably take me about 15 minutes. And then you'll get it early Saturday because it's Friday night. I did it right after the live stream. I'll post it probably around noon. So enjoy. You'll get Patreon hour on Sunday, and a 45-minute YouTube video will probably drop around Tuesday or Wednesday morning. Check it out. Hundreds of other shows and movies. In the description is a link for Patreon. You'll see every episode of Campaign 2 Patreon Hour exclusive Vox Machina Season 1 and 2. Finishing Barry and Ted Lasso in the next 2 weeks. Final seasons of both, unless Ted Lasso gets renewed, but it ain't looking good. There are writer strikes. There are all sorts of shows being canceled, so I pray maybe we get more, but we already know Barry is done. Peaky Blinders, Doctor Who, Person of Interest, hundreds of movies and shows. Check the link. If not, comments down below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.